welcome to another Thursday, another town hall. Very welcome. We have super special guest from today from IoT, Game Changer, and some announcements of the community. So pretty welcome. And Ricardo, do you want to take the lead today?
Yeah, hello everybody. Hello Tony, I see you with the camera on. Nice of you being here. And oh man, I think it will be a record number of participants today. A lot of interest for the Atala. And so I think we have a feedback loop. All right. So Mauro, then let's go with the slides. Next edition of the European Town Hall today. As always, we start with the Catalyst mantra. Very excited of having...
No, please. The first things we need to say is congratulations to Lace team from the official launch of Lace Wallet. That's the main thing to say today. Huge announcement.
Exactly, yeah.
For the community, and now we are going to through the mantra.
All right, exactly. So our Italian colleague is not in today, but I will say benvenuti all'esperimento. Les choses
prouvant che va
file de documentación,
diferir ampliamente entre interacciones,
disorient, overload, and inspire.
And our goal, I don't know if Adriano is here, but if he can read our goal, because I know he speaks Spanish. Well, if he, yes, Adriano.
In Spanish then?
No, if you can read our goal, the last sentence is in Spanish.
Okay. Potencial de la colaboración humana. That's the last.
Very good.
Word.
Very good. Oh,
no worries. Our goal is to provide a safe and lively environment for you to explore the highest potential de la colaboración humana.
All right.
So, Rick, do you want to explain what we are building?
Yeah, with the core team, basically, we said, let's come up with our own mantra for the European Town Hall. And our mantra is keep your nodes up to date for those running the network, supporting the infrastructure. Try to study and learn something new every day. Support and connect with community members for synergy and goals. And Mauro?
Yes, and be inclusive, friendly, and wise with words, even in anger. And share information without destroying dreams, people, or their reputation. That's pretty important today.
Great. Very good. So we have spaces in multiple languages, Twitter spaces in Portuguese, Greek, Italian, and German. And we invite community members, if they want to introduce a space in Twitter from the account of the EU Town Hall. Please contact us via the Discord server. We will arrange for that. And the more languages we can reach in the region, the better. Exactly, yeah. Next slide, please. All right, here is a brief summary of all our contact communication channels. So we have a Discord server, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. We have a shop, which is at the moment not very active, but it's still there. And here, of course, you will find our Town Hall link. Next slide, please. And yeah, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to a very special person in the IoT environment who is driving the Atala Prism product. So Tony, the stage is yours. Thank you for joining us today, for taking the time. I know you are very busy, but really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you, Ricardo, and thank you everyone for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to speak to the EU Cardano Town Hall. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you a little bit of my background, how I got into blockchain and identity, where the Atala Prism V2 product launch is, what is Atala Prism V2. I'm going to walk you through the book mint that we just did with book.io for our Foundations of Decentralized Identity course reader. And by purchasing this book, you fund a student scholarships from our contract and also get access to the Pioneer program, which is the next way to get into our next round of the beta program. So would love to get your help sharing the news about the book mint and helping people know that by getting that book, they can start the Pioneer program today. And the first round of the Pioneer program is for everyone, non-technical and technical audiences. It primarily focuses on the concepts of SSI, decentralized identity. And it's a prerequisite to get into the programming with the Atala Prism V2 Pioneer course. And we're also offering building user experiences with decentralized infrastructure course as well. So the 101 is a prerequisite for those other ones, and you can get started today. So does that sound like a good outline, Ricardo? Is that what you had in mind? Okay.
Sorry, yeah. That is perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, just briefly my background. So I studied computer science at UC Berkeley. I transferred from the math department to computer science as a junior, where I was able to do quite well with the theoretical aspects of computer science, but I was a terrible programmer. But I did learn Linux over the summer and set up a Linux lab in my apartment and learned that I could get good developers to be my friend and work with me on projects if I gave them pizza. So that was the beginning of my product management journey. And I've always been somewhere between really, like, I would say I'm mostly a sales engineer. It's like mostly what I do. I love engaging with customers. I love engaging with emerging technology. And I love working with like talented, high-performing engineering teams and helping bring code to the market that matters. The arc of my career has generally followed the evolution of the internet, through streaming, e-commerce, mobile, social, payments. I was involved in leading the deployment of Apple Pay, Android Pay, and the other contactless payments in the US, 2014, 15, and 16, for the largest payment processor in the US. So we processed more than half of all the debit and credit transactions in the United States across enterprise accounts like Home Depot or Macy's or Nordstrom's, state government agencies, as well as small businesses, so restaurants, car washes, yoga studios, and then all manner of e-commerce, online payments. And so it's quite interesting to get deep into the weeds of how payments work, and realize that the architecture of credit card payments, at least in the US, was designed in the 80s and 90s. And a lot of how payments settle for merchants, it still uses SFTP, which is like a really old protocol. It's a way to securely transfer a file using command line, and it's still in use today. I mean, this is how they're synchronizing settlement records and payment transactions between different systems. And I found that to be pretty shocking. Around that time, I started to hear about blockchain. And once I took a few of my team to some hackathons and did some supply chain use cases, it really clicked. It was like, wow, this is not only instant settlement for payments, but with identity, you can know where things came from, who was involved in, this cup of coffee that I have. And shortly thereafter discovered SSI. And I'm fortunate I live in a part of the world where the Internet Identity Workshop happens every 6 months. And so I just went to one and I didn't know what SSI was. And that was all they were talking about. And as soon as I spent one day there and started to hear like what SSI was and the problem it wanted to solve, and immediately like fell in love with it. Just went down the rabbit hole and have been on a mission ever since to bring decentralized identity to the world for so many reasons. There's so much value there, but the example I often use is I don't need Twitter to keep track of my list of friends for me. Thank you very much. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, I've also found that people that come from a layer 1 blockchain background underestimate the complexity of the SSI architecture, because there's a lot of common misconceptions that, oh, you just hash a document on the chain, or you just put some signatures on chain. There's an element of blockchain in the SSI architecture. It's not strictly required. It's really just for storing public keys that need to be well known. That's really all it's for. Blockchains are great for that. The rest of the SSI architecture has really been focused on how do you move data around the internet that's verifiable, that's privacy preserving. And so it's this privacy preserving principle that is absolutely critical, and has led to the design that we have for SSI today. And so this is where you have issuers, holders, verifiers, trust registries, governance frameworks. Hey, Javi, good to see you. So that's a bit of my background. I started at Input Output about 18 months ago. Prior to that, I was doing my own startup in the SSI space called Proof Market. And we had started the COVID Credentials Initiative during the pandemic and spent a lot of time trying to get film productions open during the pandemic, working in the air travel industry, getting some laws passed almost in California related to identity as a part of the advocacy work. And I've been quite involved as well in advocacy. So it was one of the early people in Wyoming educating lawmakers about blockchain technology. Took that effort into California, where last year in California, as part of the California Blockchain Advocacy Coalition, we passed a bill authorizing verifiable credentials for birth, death, and marriage certificates, which is quite interesting when you start to look at what does it mean to have your identity be natively digital? Because today, your identity is natively physical. There's a birth certificate document that's a piece of paper. And in order to become digital, there's a process of onboarding where that physical document needs to be evaluated for authenticity. And then you get a digital representation of whatever trust that exists in that physical document. So authorizing in California birth, death, and marriage to be natively digital means that wallets and ecosystems and communities that want to establish trust in a digital context don't have to solve that onboarding step, which is really the Achilles heel of the internet, right? This is like the internet's big problem right now, and even more so because of AI and the ease at which we can all create fakes. I mean, just in the past week with these auto GPTs, it's like, it's crazy. We're going to be flooded with people connecting to us online that we have no way to know if they're real or not. So SSI and DIDs and credentials really play an important role in helping us and our communities establish and maintain trust in who we're communicating with in the digital context. So I often will say that cryptocurrencies give us digitally native payments, and SSI and verifiable credentials and DIDs gives us digitally native identity. And these are two of the missing pillars of digital that we need in addition to the ability to send information for free. So it's information, identity, and payments. For me, that's the triple home run of digital that we need to make systems online that work like systems in the real world at a higher scale, because we can communicate with our communities at a global scale, not just in a physical sense. I'll pause there. Maybe if there's questions about any of that, and then I have a few slides to go through about the SSI, Prism V2, and then our Pioneer program.
Thank you, first of all, Tony, for the intro and for telling us something about you as a human being. Thank you for that. I would have a question related more to initiatives, for example, on European level, or maybe I'm sure in the US there are also some programs ongoing. In Europe, there's this called EBSI, so European Backbone Infrastructure for Blockchain. How do you see, the probabilities or possibilities of Atala Prism integrating into such an infrastructure? I understand it's interoperable. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
It's a really good question. And Europe has been really on the leading edge of privacy and individual rights online with GDPR, right? And California followed Europe with the CCPA, the California Consumer Privacy Act. And when we proposed the COVID credential test result bill in California, we went in front of the California Privacy Committee, who was responsible for the CCPA. And it was really interesting and awesome because we were able to talk to that body and explain to them how credentials work and how these are actually very consumer-friendly, privacy-preserving instruments that unlock, it's more than just about consumer privacy. It's about enterprises and governments being able to have more trust and less fraud and less liability. So Europe has really been on the bleeding edge of this topic. And I've actually been quite interested. I'm not an expert on these things, but I hear about them and I've discussed them a little bit, but the product passport regulations coming. So tying together data about a thing that's in a supply chain that's very decentralized, it's a really super hard problem. And how do you trust data that's moving around across these different steps in a supply chain or through a web of a supply chain network? And so I think for product passports in particular, there's a ton of problems that SSI solves. And just to back up a little bit, Atala Prism V2 is an implementation of the standards. It's not a bespoke solution at all. The standards for SSI, DADs, verifiable credentials, DID-PEER, DID-COM, these are industry standards and they're new. They've been emerging. They're still going through iterations. And we're at the sort of phase of the emerging part of the technology that we're starting to see enough standard implementations that have enterprise class capabilities and developer friendliness that we can move beyond the pilot and POC phase, which is where SSI has been for the past 2 years. It's really been at the POC and pilot phase. And most projects are finding that the current generation 1 implementations just have scalability issues and usability from a developer's perspective issues. So I just want to make that super clear that Prism V2 is an implementation of the standards. And it's one of the newest ones. So we believe it's one of the best ones. And we think it's learned a lot of the lessons from prior implementations. And we're looking forward to validating that through our beta program and our Pioneer program. And as we get closer to commercial launch. Another thing that I've been excited about in the EU is their digital wallet requirements. Those seem to be directed almost entirely at the principles of SSI, right? Like it talks about principles such as verify the verifier, right? If someone pulls you over and asks to see your driver's license and claims to be a police officer, you have the right to verify that they are in fact a police officer. These are concepts in SSI that are possible. And when you see a requirement like that, you know that the people writing the requirements like understand the capabilities of the technology, which is very exciting. They also made requirements that wallets that the public use have some strict audit requirements. This is super important, right? You don't want to just download a wallet off the internet and hope it's not stealing your data, right? Hope it doesn't do something with your private keys. Like having wallets be audited and trusted are absolutely critical to the digital realm being a safe place for people. So I've been quite encouraged to see how much leadership the EU region is providing, because we're not getting that in the US, right? In California, it's an uphill battle. And at the federal level, they just cannot seem to get their act together on anything. So yeah, good question. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, maybe one
I-
more question, and then we would go to the presentation. Yeah.
Sure.
I have a question, but it's like a gossip on Twitter. And if you don't want to answer from terms and conditions of compliance and that kind of stuff, it's pretty reasonable. There is not that much, but I heard that the Atala Prism team will work pretty close with the Moonlight protocol. And this of data privacy is a Twitter gossip. If you can deny it or not, but I hear that.
So, I mean, I could give the very easy answer, which I can neither confirm nor deny these rumors. I could also say that through our beta program and pioneer program, it's a fairly open door, right? If you want to work with Atala Prism V2, like you're invited, you're welcome, like join the party. I won't say we're giving any special attention to Moonlight. What I can say is they have not participated in the beta program. I've not seen their pitch. I do office hours as part of the beta program. I make my time available, actually 2 hours every single day. I make available to the community. They've not shown up. So when I say I've never heard of them, it's true. Maybe someone on my team has, but I'm not sure.
Perfect. It's always great to have the official answer of a member of the team. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. I think we can go ahead with the presentation or onboarding information you have prepared.
Sure. Let me share my screen. By the way, that picture, I'm glad you shared that picture. I took that in Mongolia about last summer when I went with the IO team, and we were actually visiting with the some of the folks that live out in the steppes and the plains, and they were eagle hunters.
Wow.
I got to play with an eagle, so it was pretty cool.
Amazing. Yeah, this picture.
All right, let's see if that comes through. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yes,
Okay,
perfect.
so this is just a really fast run through of the stuff that's covered in the Pioneer program and in the book that's available on book.io. Most people are familiar with this, at least at the conceptual level, right? This issuer holder verifier triangle. It's the foundation of SSI. There's an issuer, like the DMV will give you your driver's license. Then there's a verifier, like someone that needs to check you're over 18 to get into the bar, or whatever they need to check. The key is that the trust by the verifier of the issuer can be established without leaking your information, right? The DMV does not need to know where you're using your driver's license. And this is one of the key properties where blockchain comes in quite handy, because the verifier can just look up the public key of the DMV, validate that credential came from a public key they can validate. And then your information is verified. That ID is portable in a digital context. And when you use it, your privacy is not leaked. So that's sort of the key. As you extend into real world use cases, it becomes very clear that governance is a critical part of doing this. While the verification of trust and the verification of the data can happen with just code, for open ecosystems to grow and thrive, there need to be written down rules for how the levels of assurance of that trust are managed and maintained over time. For example, what I'll do is I'll talk about the example that we'll be doing in our Pioneer program. So as part of the book Mint, the funds from that Mint are going into a smart contract for student scholarships. Our partner, Student Reader, is working with education institutions in Kenya to identify students that could be eligible for the scholarship. And so we wrote down a governance framework that says, in order for a student to get a student ID, you must physically identify them, check their first name, last name, make sure they have an email address that they control. So under that governance framework, we know when we see a student ID credential, that student has met those criteria. And this governance framework allows us to onboard and grow the ecosystem of education institutions just by having them agree to follow those rules before they issue a student ID credential. So the governance frameworks is really critical, and it's something that most people, including myself, don't appreciate how important it is. I mentioned I started the COVID Credentials Initiative and thought we were going to save the world with COVID test result credentials, and spent about 18 months of my life and a lot of my own money and other people's time thinking we were going to solve this problem with technology. Towards the end, what we realized was we needed to get all the stakeholders together to talk about this. And so this is the genesis of the Good Health Pass Collaborative. And so over a period of about 4 months, the industry, I participated, did not lead. This was led by ID 2020 and MasterCard, because there were tons of people trying to solve this problem. And they pulled together folks from the air transportation industry, from public health globally, technology companies, and we started the process of creating a governing document for how you could get a COVID test result credential in order to do international air travel and like unlock the global economy during this time. And it was shocking to me how much controversy there was about what a negative test was. So even data elements that you think are obvious, when you get into the weeds with experts, there's mountains of nuance. And this is part of the reason why for Fund 10, we already have a funded challenge for governance framework working groups, because we want people that are working with PRISM or having ideas for things they can do with decentralized identity to get ahead of this and start convening their stakeholders as early as possible, because until you do, there will be no adoption, right? You need your issuers, you need your verifiers, you need your policymakers, you need your holders in your wallets to all agree on, what are the important data elements to unlock with verifiable data, verifiable credentials? Where does it come from? What are the levels of assurance we need? What happens if someone violates the rules? All of these things are critical for decentralized identity ecosystems that have value to go to market.
Tony, if you allow a question regarding the different blockchains that are, let's say, competing to become, I don't know, for example, in Europe, the one blockchain that will be supporting, for example, government or other institutions, public institutions, driven digital identity initiatives. How do you see Cardano in this aspect, in this, let's say, competition, or you don't see a competition? It's rather more, it will be interoperable, and so there is not like this, the winner takes all concept. How do you see that?
There's no such thing as winner take all decentralized infrastructure, right? The layer ones will compete on like innovation of dApps, right? Like, why do I want to come to Cardano? Because they have book.io. Why do I want to go to Ethereum? Because they have, whatever they have. And so on, right? It's so early days for layer ones. Like we've had a few bear markets and a few winters and a few, retail run-ups. But what does success really look like? Look at the growth of AI. 100 million users in 4 weeks. I mean, we get excited when we're getting like, double digit tens of thousands, right? So there's a lot of work to do. Like layer ones, the tribalism of Web3 people is just destructive. Also, emerging tech always brings promoters and scammers, and that's been very destructive. But identity runs across all of these layer ones. The only thing you need the layer one for in an identity implementation is a place to store the public keys. So if the DMV or the government is using their chain for issuing government issued IDs, that's awesome. Does my wallet let me prove with no friction my KYC so I can interact with a dApp on Cardano? Right? Like those, like the wallets need to solve the UX and operate cross chain and like hide that complexity from the user.
Okay, so for the user, it won't matter basically if the government decides for chain A, B, or C. It's the app or the decentralized app that will resolve that, as you mentioned. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you never go, hey mom, I'm going to call you on T-Mobile. Right? It's like I'm gonna
call you. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, good.
When I talk to Josh, the CEO of Book.io, like I love using his example, because with Book.io you can buy a book, you can read a book, and you can sell a book. It happens to use blockchain, right? That's the future we need to get to. Right? And we're getting there. Right? It's still emerging tech. We're still solving a lot of the tech scaling and usability problems.
Great. All right. Maybe you can take us through the process of what the students can do with this platform and what they can, how they can interact with the Proof Space app also.
Yeah. So let me go real quick through what is Atala Prism, the suite. So Atala Prism V2 is 6 products that unbundle core functionality that you need to do SSI. So authenticate, connect to endpoints, issue a credential, manage your policies, manage your credential schemas, onboard, which is part of getting rid of usernames and passwords, and verify to verify credentials. So I won't go through all of these here, but I'll do them quickly. So if someone watches it later, they can see each of these products, and they come together through our agent. So there's the Prism agent that does all of these things, and it can be deployed either as a cloud instance or as an edge agent in an iOS app, for example. So let me talk about the Pioneer program. We've done the 101. Now this will be the 3rd time. And so we've completely revamped it to be about Prism V2, and a lot more videos, and like we've learned a lot about how to explain the core concepts of the foundations of SSI to technical and non-technical audiences. And so when you take that course, you'll get a credential of completion, which means you can then sign up for this course, AP 102, which is for developers. This is where you get access to our SDKs and our APIs and the whole community of builders. We have a community of builders we call the Atala Prism Astros. And many of them have gotten Catalyst funding or are launching their businesses now. And so when you come into our builder program, you get access there. And then we have this design course, which is new, which is really focusing on human-centered design. So how do you solve these wallet challenges? How do you solve usability in a physical digital world we live in. So here's the pitch. So I'm doing the whole wind up. So I'm gonna hope this works. So you go to book.io. This is the book. We have all these covers that we've designed that are inspired by this book that inspired me, called Technology and the Virtues. And these are core virtues that have been distilled down from various ethical traditions. And there are 10,000 books. With the book, you're funding a smart contract for students in Kenya to take this course using the student ID credential I referred to earlier. And you also get access to our Pioneer program. So how does that work? You go to the studentreader.io, who's our publisher. And if you have the book, you then go to the app here. Oh, let me disconnect. So once you have the book in your wallet, which I do here, you connect your wallet. Then you can go to the Foundations of SSI page, which is only accessible if you have the book. And then you can click here to sign up for the course. And as you go through the course, I'm not going to go through the whole course. It takes about 2 hours. You'll download the ProofSpace wallet. And when you complete the course, you'll get a course completion credential. And
Tony,
it's
AP02 and AP03 unlock only after you have completed the foundations. Is this correct?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's AP 103, does it require 102 and 101 or?
No. So it's meant to fork. So it's meant for, we really want to bring in a business analysts, business developers, UX designers, and software developers. Like those are the kinds, that's the kind of community we're building. And so we plan to do more outreach to UX developers, UX designers over the coming weeks, because we have lots of developers, right? We actually are doing good on the backend developer front, but what Web3 is missing largely is enough good UX. And I think we can all recognize that. So this was the motivation behind 103, was creating a way to like welcome the UX community to Cardano, to Atala Prism, and such. So would love your help spreading the word.
And why, Tony, and then asking this, because you are the head of product of Atala Prism, the team decide, for example, not to have a Twitter account and a LinkedIn account page. For example, when I was looking to make the graphics or info of the post to promote this town hall, I didn't see an interaction with the community and that kind of stuff or content creation. I see that the page, the website is pretty awesome and good looking, but why the team decide to not open a Twitter account and a LinkedIn account to spread the word?
So we are really focused on building the core product, and the early adopters that we have through Cardano, we already have enough. Like we have plenty, right? We have plenty of innovators, and we're not at the phase of the go-to-market plan where we're opening it up more broadly to the non-Web3, non-Cardano ecosystems. We're doing targeted business development in those areas. And as we move more towards the commercial launch and we've nailed down the business models and the industry verticals we want to go after, then we'll be looking more closely at what is our LinkedIn strategy, what is our social strategy. Good question.
Great. I think we would have dozens or hundreds of questions for you, Tony, but yeah. I would propose we take one more question from the community. Guys, don't be shy, go ahead, ask your questions. And then, yeah, we would move on to the second guest. But yeah, it's been amazing, Tony. Thank you so much. All right, one more question.
I wonder with this new, I think this is the third time now that Alabrism is doing their workshop, maybe even more. I was in the first one. Is the content all changed, or is there some like new videos like talking about the same stuff from different angles, or there is a lot of like reuse and what could be expected if somebody has already done it before?
Pete is here, who is the designer of the next iteration program. So Pete, why don't you take that one?
Okay, yeah. So if you have gone through the program before, this is going to be completely different. So the way that it's structured is, so 101 is going to be just completely non-technical, like Tony said, that just the foundational information that you need to have if you're just curious, but you also need to have that information to understand how you start to build and how you can improve the UI UX experiences, which is 102 and 103. So with V2, everything has changed. So all the material is going to be completely different. Even if you did one of the tests for us a little while ago, a few months ago, with 101, it's even different from then. We've updated some stuff. So everything should be brand new to everybody. I know there were some people who maybe were in the beta program. 101, it's exactly the same. I haven't changed it really. But everything else is going to be completely different than what you were expecting before. With 102, the idea is, this is the one that's developer heavy. The idea is we're going to teach you the technical programming side of it, how you kind of everything works. At the same time, we're also going to walk you through how to build an ecosystem alongside that. So you will actually learn how to do all of this together in one kind of failed swoop. With the UX experience stuff, there's a lot of good stuff in there. We'll actually have collaboration with the developers and the designers at different points of the courses. So this may be a time where developers and UX UI people have never talked before, and we're going to make them talk because they need to, because there's very complicated problems that need to be solved. I can't remember the example off the top of my head at the moment, but there was a really simple question that's like, do you allow a developer to do this in an app? And if you do, what are the implications of that? And it was a really simple question, but it actually turned out to be a really, really complicated, long discussion we had about it. So that's kind of what the outline of everything is, if that answers your question.
All right, great.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, it's been an incredible session. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I guess there will be many interactions in the future. Also, you have a Slack channel. I joined that. There is a lot of questions and answers going on. I'm reading the book and I love the layout. And I wish there would be a possibility to get a printed copy. But I guess this are all things coming. Yeah.
So Pete also was the primary author of the book. And by the way, Book.io is launching mint and print.
Oh, wow.
So you'll be able to print your own copy soon.
Cool.
And yeah, spread the word. We'd love to have more people coming to the Pioneer program. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Very good. Okay, Mauro, do you want to introduce our next guest?
Sure, as I see, there is going to be a whole team. And today with us also will be present the Game Changer Wallet team. And I don't know, I see Adriano. Adriano, where are you from?
Okay, Mauro. Hi, everyone. From Argentina.
We're from the same country. We never contact each other.
The guilt is here. Too much keyboard.
Too much going. That's amazing.
Let's have a chat once the meeting ends.
Sure.
So welcome to all Game Changer Wallet team. How are you guys?
Very, very excited and thankful for this nice opportunity to be here. guys, do you want to say hi? Javi, Quasar?
Yeah, of course. Like, thank you all for being here. For some of us, it's a little bit late. So yeah, thanks especially to the Europeans. I don't know what time it is in Argentina, but yeah, we are there, right? So yeah, first of all, thank everyone, and also thank the team for being so awesome. And yeah, let's go for it.
Welcome, Javi. Yeah, nice to have you here. So you are
Thank
in India, or which country are you?
No, I'm based in Barcelona, in Spain.
Okay.
And I met Adriano on the team a long time ago. And also in parallel, I'm also helping to build Atala.
Oh, okay. So also Spanish speaking. Very good.
Yeah, but today I'm with Game Changer. Today I'm not Atala. So tomorrow you guys will have Atala for more.
Very good.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. All right. And Quasar.
Hey everybody! Thank you for inviting us to be on here. And I'm the English speaker of Game Changer, which is fun to be experiencing that being from that experience, to be on a team with all Spanish speaking people. It's really unique. My Spanish is getting much better with Adriano. Not only does he build an amazing wallet, but he also is a great a teacher. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't pay you to say that, Q. Thanks.
Not yet.
All right.
So,
I was watching a video today about a capability in your wallet that allows basically the users to create scripts and then even create multi-sig, let's say custom-made approaches, which I thought it's amazing. But yeah, I think maybe for someone who never have heard about the Game Changer wallet, maybe you could give like a intro and a bird's eye perspective of why you came up with this idea and what is Game Changer all about.
sure, Ricardo. So can I share my screen?
Yes, let me check if you have the access rights. Mauro, can you help me?
I guess I don't.
A moment. We will give you the presenting rights in just 1 second.
Okay.
Here, yeah, more. So you should be a co-host now. You should be able to present.
Right, thanks.
While you're setting it up, I would also shout out for Game Changer. We have been using almost a year Game Changer first version to create bundle transaction in Swarm, in SingularityNet, and in many other communities to get the transaction done on chain with metadata.
Excellent. Yeah. Great.
Thanks, Tevo. Please, let's have a call because version 2 is meant for you guys. So let's have a call then.
Oh, we are actually working on governance standard on metadata, so we will need new features, and I think what you have there is something that can be used.
Thanks. Thanks for using Game Changer so early. So, well, sorry. I don't know if you are watching my screen.
We can see your screen now. Yeah.
Great. So, okay, just a quick start. Why we are here mainly is because we have recently launched a beta version of the version 2 of the wallet. Is on pre-production testnet, and you can go here on beta on the landing gamechanger.finance, the website of the wallet. You can go to the beta link, and then you can click here, and then you are redirected to the wallet. So answering Ricardo's question, it's a very good one. there is a lot to say about the wallet, but maybe just to recap, to resume what the wallet is, we can say it's a real-fi oriented wallet. It's a web app wallet, non-custodial wallet, and it's based on some like this design principles that are, of course, are creating some differences between this wallet and the most common design of wallets around Cardano and other blockchains. But this wallet has been based since the beginning with some design principles, some taken from successful cases of Web2 vintage products. For example, those who know, for example, Mercado Libre on Latin America. And then this wallet makes a special focus on lowering the access barriers to Cardano. This wallet was I guess the second one of the community. 2 weeks after NAMI, this wallet came to life. I can tell that building on Cardano and especially so early was a very difficult task. My commitment is to lower the access barrier to Cardano, because Cardano is awesome, but of course it's complicated. It's complicated because it's an advanced blockchain. It's not something. It's not a copy paste of other projects. It's very unique. So the challenge here was very early, where almost no wallets existed on Cardano, to ask myself a question: how a Cardano wallet should look like, just to keep up with this new unique blockchain. So this is how Game Changer came to life. I know it's a very ambitious name, Game Changer, but humbly I can say you that it's a huge effort to bring Cardano into your hands, into user hands and into developers' hands. So Ricardo, what you asked, what you was saying before, is a key aspect of the wallet. I'm going to go very quickly to show you. This is the integrated IDE of the wallet. Here you can code the apps to connect with Game Changer. And the language, now we can say it's a DSL. It's a very, very simple DSL to communicate and to give orders to the wallet. This DSL is JSON-based, so is under the category of low code. This is low code coding. Almost you don't have to code to interact with Cardano, not with Game Changer, with Cardano. And the proof is that, for example, this great usage that Tevo and his team has done with the wallet since ages now, I mean, Catalyst Farm and Aldea DAO and a lot of other SPOs, for example, for massive payments or token drops. So this low code is by no means something less powerful than coding low-level Cardano transactions. So you can achieve a lot with this. Just one example for those who knows, very quickly, I don't want to take too much time, but for example, these are the last demos added here regarding smart contracts that, I mean, thanks to Catalyst, we are at this moment in time. All this last year development has been possible thanks to Catalyst and Catalyst voters. So thanks for your support. And one of the proposals was to have smart contract support. Here we have a demo. I'm not going to run it. I'm just going to tell you what this demo does. On a single DApp connection, this demo creates two transactions. One first to lock UTXOs on a contract, and then a second one in a sequence, right? A second one to unlock them on a single DApp connection. So the DApp connector is a different model than the CIP30 and has a lot of design reasons behind it. And what you were saying, Ricardo, is this: every code that you go to interact with the wallet can be packed in URLs. This is the most successful transport medium of the Web 2. So the idea was to bring the power of Web 2 to Web 3 to be real file ready, because this is a link that if I click the link, I'm going to be executing the code that you were seeing, JSON-based code. So imagine what you can do with links. You can share this link on emails, WhatsApp, whatever. And the most beautiful thing is that now you can even pack them on, now, I mean, this is been here for ages now, but you can pack these URLs, these codes, on QR codes. For example, allowing awesome, yes, like just every
yeah, sure, go ahead.
Hardware integrating Cardano, as easy as showing on the hardware a QR code. Please check Martin Menier's PayPad that has been around since like a year now or a bit more. And this is how we have a postnet on Cardano. Like if you were paying with Visa or MasterCard, but this time with Cardano and a Cardano wallet. So just that. Ricardo, please go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
I love your enthusiasm. It's contagious, I would say. Thank you for joining us today. It's really amazing. And I would like to ask you one question. So in theory, with the scripting that you showed, would it also be possible, for example, to mint something, to mint a token, an NFT?
Yes, actually, it's a miracle I have this demo here. I'm not going to run it because for time maybe, but just check this out. This is a simple HTML page generated through Game Changer Playground IDE. I didn't code this, the wallet did. So if I go here on Playground, if I go to connect, I explore all the ways you can connect or embed this script. Check this out. You have a ready to copy and paste and deploy HTML snippet of code here. So this, what you're seeing, is exactly that.
Wow.
That is generated by the wallet. And the nice thing here is that, check this. I'm going to run this DApp connector, okay? This DApp connection from this HTML, this link. So check this. This is what that DApp, that simple HTML, is trying to do on our wallets. Complex native scripts. So what do you need to mint NFTs? Native scripts. You can use Bluetooth, for example, but I mean, the very basics is to use native scripts. So this DApp connection, for example, is creating native scripts. And the most, I mean, I have a lot to talk about this because this DSL is not, because of low code, it's not something simpler and less powerful. This is very powerful. The same way like Marlowe allows you to have a great level of determinism thanks to the design of the language. Here we have something very, very simple. And this allows us to stop trusting brands, trusting who is the developer of the DApp. And now we can start trusting request-based connections. I mean, the request, what the DApp is requesting the wallet to do. You can now turn this DSL very easily into permissions. color permissions. So for example, this connection is going to execute code, is green, it's nothing like, I mean, blocks of code, nothing very harmful. It's going to share a public key. Public keys can be shared, okay, but I want to know that this diap needs my public keys. So this listed here. But the most interesting thing is that we have a very rich API. Is an entire library to build on Cardano exposed on the diap connector. So, for example, generate volatile keys. What? Yes, this diap connector, this diap is asking the wallet to derive keys to create these scripts. And then with this keys, it's going to create, for example, an address, because this is not going to mint, but it's an example, a very dumb example, but imagine what you can do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it has endless possibilities. That's amazing, really amazing what you have. Tell me a bit more about yourself. I mean, you're a student, a programmer. Tell us about yourself, because I think the community wants to also know about the people behind the projects, not only the projects.
Okay, I never talk too much about me. Game changer always took all the time. But okay, I am a full stack developer. Among other things, I am also a filmmaker, but that's another story for another place. But yes, I am a full stack developer from Argentina. Prior to launch myself to work 24/7 on Cardano, I was building with some partners I have on a startup we have a vintage wallet for the Web2 era based on Argentine pesos. Okay, it was for our country, and it was focused on parking. It was a wallet that had like a strong use case that was to pay the parking slots, right? So, and before that, okay, it's a long story. I've always been like an independent developer and entrepreneur, building my own projects. Some of them were for filmmaking, creating hardware even for some complex use cases. For example, stereoscopic, stop motion, or stuff like that with camera movements. A long story short, a crazy person that has been building since I was a kid. That's what I do. I build.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
How many Argentinians are in Cardano? We are like 30, 35.
30 million.
Huge
I
number.
object.
I'm going to explain my reason. Cardano,
Yeah,
is not Ethereum. I don't want to talk wrong about Ethereum, but Cardano came to fix a lot of stuff that Ethereum was maybe doing wrong. One of them maybe was the accessibility. This is very simple, very maybe superficial, but the prices to reach a blockchain and to build on a blockchain as powerful as Ethereum for Argentinians is very important, because everything is dollar cost on the blockchain, want it or not. So when the market starts getting crazy and we have these nice bull runs, it's terrible for people like on my country, for example, to build. And this is why Game Changer, since version 1, allows you to build multi-output transactions out of the same, not just API, but the same user interface to save on fees, to learn from the Ethereum experience, to very early don't commit the same errors. So sorry, I had to say this. This is another reason why this wallet exists.
Right.
Thanks.
No, that's perfect. And a lot of Argentinians working in different projects. Right now, the chief technological officer of JPG Store is Argentinian. The guys of TX5 are Argentinians. RATSDAO, Maze Protocol are Argentinians. So, and very nice to meet you, Adriano. Now I'm going to send you my personal and private number. If you want, send me a message once we end this meeting, or call me. And right now I'm sending it.
Okay, I'm going to copy that. Thanks.
All right. I would like to encourage the community to ask questions. We don't have often the opportunity to ask, the person who is building the whole thing. So don't be shy. Let's take two, 3 questions. Come on, guys.
No, I want to ask, what are the next step building a team? I see that today here are 3 of members, and I know that launch a project or a platform or a code or something is not that easy, and you need a qualified team and a huge team. So how are the next steps in building this team?
Okay, that's a good point. Yes, building in Cardano was once like a slow delivering blockchain, and believe me, it's not. It has never been. Developers are all the time running against the new updates of Cardano and the new standards. So yes, we need a bigger team. It's a lot of work. When you start understanding how Game Changer works, you understand that Game Changer model is a DApp and a wallet at the same time, because we build transactions, okay, and not just
even difficult.
Yeah, it's like the triple of work actually. So we need a bigger team, and doors are open. The idea is to settle a bit this beta to turn it into the next production version. And in the meanwhile, we are looking for people to join. Of course, we need like most probably senior people with experience dealing with low-level transaction building, for example, because we do a lot with transactions. So yes, but the doors are open even for people in the community that wants to help to create videos, to share the work, because this wallet is for you, is for people that needs to solve stuff like massive payments, like whatever, or even very small things like delegate to your pool with a link or whatever. You can do a lot of things with this wallet. CP30 support can be a thing this year. Now, thanks to this version 2, we have to like build some transport conversion and change some things, but just recapping, it's doors are open. We need, of course, a very big team to keep up with Cardano, and we have so much to build ahead. A lot of things. Very quickly, I don't want to miss the opportunity to just name the titles, the things that made this version 2 different from version 1. Very quickly.
Go ahead, yeah.
Multi-account support, but multi-account based on purpose based or driven multi-accounting. For example, you are watching here, and this is important to understand. This is a workspace. I'm not going to explain what it is. We can talk about this later, so I don't take much time. But this workspace called Your Stake Portfolio has been created by the app, by a link. This workspace consists on free addresses to do multi-delegation. Each address has a name, the name of the pool where it's delegated. So here we have alpha, and we are watching that is delegated to alpha pool. If I change to the next address, Apex in the second address on this workspace, we can watch that we are delegating at the same time to another pool, Apex, and so on. So, for example, this is multi-accounting. Another important topic is multi-transaction support. Until now, on Cardano and in a lot of other blockchains, we work one transaction at a time, and this is not enough. For example, Tevo here, Catalyst Farm people would maybe enjoy just a DApp connection, a URL from your, for example, Excel sheets or your software to manage your treasuries that can handle multiple transactions at the same time with just a single DApp connection. And atomic operations like sign, but not just sign this transaction, sign all these transactions, a list of transactions at the same time, submit a list of transactions. And we are very close to the build a lot of transactions at the same time. This is something that is coming very, very near in the future. So this is already on the beta. I'm not talking about future. This is already done, a year of work. So thanks to the multi-transaction, we have amazing new opportunities never seen before. Like, for example, something called disk NFTs. Disk NFTs are a reference, an NFT that references your game changer file system on Cardano. Yes, it's a file storage solution, a file storage protocol built on Cardano for on-chain perpetual storage. This allows us to do a lot of stuff on this new game changer wallet. And one of the, I know I'm going super quick, please, let's find a time later to talk more about it, but keep this in mind, store multiple files on chain, version, on versioned layers on a global file system on Cardano like IPFS or torrent. And the last one, multisig. This wallet now is multisig native. It speaks multisig. It knows that a transaction can be signed later in time, that can be signed with multiple foreign keys. And one of the plugins to solve multisig, everything is already even offered on the API for the apps, for developers. One of the plugins is using Game Changer file system to share the signatures, the witnesses of the transaction. So just to recap, these are the most important topics of the wallet.
I want to ask you a question. I mean, first of all, it's been amazing, an amazing ride, and really, I love the personality and the passion that you show when explaining the Game Changer wallet. And I know there is also other team members, etc. But yeah, you transfer this very emotionally and really great. Thank you for doing that. I was wondering whether if you still have a bit of time, if we could do a breakout session for people that would love to see maybe the multisig solution, and even in upcoming town halls, maybe we can plan for also doing like deep dives on the other two features, because I think it is really going to be game changer, especially the Web2 integration that you showed with the links with the QR code. I think there are so many ideas that will be coming from the community. Because we also have 2 more topics that potentially could be in breakout rooms today. One is from Tevo, the mini proposal workshop on the key performance measurements. I don't know, maybe there are some people that would like to have a separate discussion on the topic of digital identifiers, Atala Prism, etc. So my proposal would be to have 2 more minutes for one last question, and then go into the breakout sessions and ask the people that are in the breakout sessions, if you please could record it so that we can share it via our YouTube channel. That would be amazing. But first of all, to you, the question, Adriano, you still have a little bit of time, or no?
No, for sure. Yes. It's a great opportunity to be here. So
Great. Okay. So I think we have Javi. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also part of the team, but I've seen a very interesting question in the chat, and I think it's worth giving Adriano a chance to respond it.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The team is asking in general about where can they find documentation about how to use the scripts and so on.
Yeah.
And you can basically show us in real. Yeah.
Great. Good question. So now we have auto-generated documentation for the API. Not for the entire wallet, not yet, but at least for the API, that this is a huge thing because the API is very feature rich, right? So now you have documentation. The documentation is embedded on the wallet and also as static HTML files on the wallet, so you can even access them from outside. If you are on the wallet, I recommend this method. You can go to Discover, then you can go to Development Center, and then you have here the API Documentation Explorer. And here you have all the topics that may be interested for you, so you can check them and explore each of them. Also, for people interested, the API is open, as in that has an open schema, JSON-based open schema, so everyone can even benefit from that if you want.
Great. So one last question.
Sorry, Ricardo, I was thinking that the multiple seeing aspect will help from, for example, your NGO based on Germany with Web3 user group, once you have to send some payments or something like that.
Definitely, yeah. We see so many applications alone in the charity organizations area, but I think any DAO, right, could benefit from a simple way of building multi-sig transactions. So really excited, so we have prepared the 3 breakout rooms, I would ask the participants if you could please record it, and later on we will align to merge the information and publish it. Very good. I wish everybody that joined today a pleasant evening or day ahead, depending on your time zone. We are very grateful. I think this is our all-time high in the sense of participation. We're very excited. We're very thankful to the IOG members. I also saw Danny join us. So really appreciate that we got your attention today. And stay tuned. We are going to plan very nice upcoming town halls regarding legal topics, regarding music, NFTs, expect a lot. And thank you for joining tonight. All right, I'm opening all rooms now. So you can choose whatever room you would like to join. And so we will stay here a bit in the main stage in case you have any questions. You should have now an option to choose the room that you would like to join.
Would I get the co-host to record?
Yes, I will definitely give you the whole co-host rights. Yep. Can you please double check that you have it?
Should show in the participants that I have it. I don't have it. I will try the record, but okay, now I do. Now I do.
No, it should be assigned. Yeah. Great.
Just for the bit of context, so in the key performance measurement room, we are using mini proposal workshop templates to address a context called AI tooling for decentralized groups. So if you're interested.
We're going to stop the recording here.
Adriano, which topic would you do a deep dive today?
I don't know, whatever you want. I don't have anything planned for a break room, so whatever you want.
Love to see the multisig, if possible. Yeah.
Yes, we have a very maybe slow and nice tutorial to how to do multisig. So maybe we can use it and like then do questions or check some stuff.
So I leave it to the participants now to choose, and I will join the Game Changer deep dive #1. And yeah, thank you everybody again for joining, and enjoy the breakout sessions. Have a good day.
Adri, I need to go. I send you my personal phone number, so just connect once we both end with meetings.
Yes, please, let's follow each other on Twitter. Let's on Discord also. I'm going to show you. Can you?
Sure.
Okay, I will contact you.
Just post your number here, Mara.
Awesome.
Put it up there.
I don't find it. Here.
That's my personal number, guys. Goodbye. Have a good day.
That was not financial advice or life advice either.
Hello, Adriano.
Hey, Sonny. Hey, everyone. Let's go to the Game Changer one.
Okay, is that the Game Changer Deep Dive 1?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll see you there.